Hey, welcome back. In today's video, we're talking about training from home and what sort of equipment you could be looking at buying if you are setting up at home and you're wanting to train from home. So first of all, is it actually possible to get good results from training from home? A lot of us have preconceived notions that training from home is only a temporary solution and then therefore you can't get good results. But that's not the case at all. Some considerations, some benefits from training from home. Number one is the obvious one, you're not going to have to drive to the gym. Number two is it has no closing or opening hours, which means you can train whenever you like and whenever it suits you the best. Number three is it's obviously not affected by COVID. It's your own home, so you can train whenever, regardless whether we're in lockdown or we're out of lockdown, you can train whenever you want to. And number four, no one else is there to hog any of the equipment. So whatever equipment you have access to and that you've bought, you can use all of the time. So those are some of the benefits of training from home. How do you then make it more effective so that you do get results from your program? So number one is you're gonna get out what you put into it. If you show up to any workout, whether it's in the gym or even from home, and you give it a 50% effort, you're only really going to get 50% out of it. You want to make sure that you go in with the right mindset, you're willing to put in the effort because you'll get rewarded back for it. Number two is not to rely on HIIT workouts to enhance the intensity of the program. See, that's a mistake I see a lot of people make. They try and chuck in a whole bunch of extra stuff just to chase a sweat, to chase the high heart rates. And sometimes that's not what we're chasing at all. In fact, we're trying to slow things down. And that brings me to the third point on this little topic is slow things down to make use of lighter weights. So if you've only got some light weights available, slowing things down, slowing the movement down will actually do more for you than trying to speed things up and try to get more reps in. And number four is invest in the right equipment. A lot of people make the mistake of going out and they buying gimmicky type things, the AbSwing Pro, or they're buying push-up handles or, bits of equipment that aren't really going to serve them. If you invest in the right equipment from the get-go, it's going to make it much more effective for you. So the next big elephant in the room is how do I actually make myself train from home? A lot of us have a thing that comes up for all of us when we get put into a lockdown or, everything at the moment that's going on in the world is pretty crazy. Our motivation tends to drop a little bit. So how do we get ourselves into that mindset to actually train, to actually put the effort in so that we get things out of it? Number one is going to be make an appointment with yourself. Treat it like any other appointment that you have. If you make a dentist appointment, you put it in your calendar and you'll make sure that you get to that dentist appointment. Do the same thing with yourself. Put it into your calendar, make sure it's the first thing that goes in there and honor it. So when it comes up to time for you to do that training, actually do it. Number two is going to be source some outside accountability. So whether that's a friend who will send you a text message or, even call you up or even come and join you for your workouts, or hire a coach, someone on the outside to say to you, hey, look, it's time to do a workout. It's time for you to do your session that you said that's what you wanted to do. Someone to hold you accountable, it can go a long way. The next one's going to be following a program. It makes sense. It's all laid out for you. All you have to do then is actually show up and do the work. All the guesswork's really taken away for you, so that you just have to focus on actually showing up and doing the work. A lot of the times people lose motivation, especially when they don't have a program planned out or they don't have any plan in place. It's really easy to just fall off the bandwagon and go, it's too hard because you got to think of what you're doing, then you got to motivate yourself to do it. Whereas if you've just got a program, it's very easy to just go, right, this is all I need to do for today. Maybe I'm not having a great day, but as long as I get through this session and I do everything that's already pre-planned for me, I'm still going to make progress towards my goal. If you don't have a program available and you don't have something to follow, that's what we actually help our clients to do. If you want more information about that, I'll put that in the link down below this video. And then lastly, to make yourself do your training at home is to set yourself up with the right music. Music can go a really long way, and if you've got a really kick-ass playlist that you like listening to, something that gets you pumped up, ready to train, that is going to be a massive help. There's nothing worse than training when it's dead quiet and you just got, the traffic outside or the wind to listen to. That can be a little bit boring. So make it exciting for yourself. Find music that really pumps you up, makes you feel motivated, and bring that to the table as well. All right, so what are some common mistakes when training from home that I've seen people make before? Now that you're watching this, hopefully you're not going to make these mistakes because I'm already telling you about it. But number one is making sure that the area you've got to train in is appropriate. For example, think about ahead of time where you're going to train, whether that's a spare room in your house, or it could be the garage, it could be your lounge room, your living room, whatever the case may be. Make sure that that space is available to you. For example, I had a client who, when all of COVID came through and she had to train from home, she started off training in her living room and later found out that she just couldn't get anything done. She was having to stop her workouts midway through and tend to her kids, which meant that it was really interrupting her, and therefore her motivation started going down and things started to go array. So she made the decision to move her workouts out into the garage so that when she was in there, she could close the door and she could really just focus on what she was doing. Therefore, she was able to get her workouts done in a lot more of a timely fashion, and it wasn't so much of a stressor for her. The second one is obviously not making the space manageable. So that being said, if you do train in your garage and it's either early morning or late at night, it could be really, really cold in there. That's going to have a sway on your motivation as well. So make sure that you just spend a bit of time making sure that that's manageable for you. Then we have not clearing the clutter before you train. If you know you have a workout on Monday and it's Sunday afternoon, make sure that your space available for the workout on Monday is actually clear. Don't wait until Monday morning and you're going to train at 6 a.m. and it's 5:30 and you're then trying to clear stuff out of the way. Do it ahead of time, because the more roadblocks you put in front of yourself, the harder it's ultimately going to be. Then we have not communicating to other family members that this specific time or this appointment that you've made with yourself is time for you to train. If they don't know what's going on and you just randomly go off and you try to train and be in the zone and be all pumped up, and then they're wondering what's going on, chances are they're more likely to interrupt you, or they're to ask you to do things, and that can then start to influence your motivation levels and really start to derail you. So just communicate. Like, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. It could be a simple communication of saying like, hey, on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m, this is when I'm going to be training. This is the time I'm going to be doing it. It's just so that people are aware. And then lastly, on this little subtopic here is believing your own excuses. Now, I know this probably goes without saying, but excuses are something that's going to come up. There's never going to be a day where it feels perfect and everything's always going to plan and it's all sunshine and rainbows. If it does, great, but in reality, things come up from time to time. But the thing is, if we listen to our own excuses, it's going to keep us stuck. It's going to keep us in that same environment or that same situation that we're trying to move on from. Okay, so now that we've discussed the benefits of training from home and how to make it more effective and things to look out for, what are some of the equipment pieces that you should start to look at getting if you are going to train from home? So the first one is going to be bands. Bands are really, really easy to do a lot of different things with. If there was one piece of equipment, if I had to boil it down to just one, this would be it. Because you can basically do all of the different exercises you can with barbells, with dumbbells, with bands, and you can replicate it. There's a lot of different bands on the market. You can get small loop bands or you can get the great big ones. My recommendation to you would be to get the longer bands. So when I'm saying that, I've got some here. This is one of the longer loop bands. It's a 41-inch big loop. So it's just one continuous thing. These would be the bands that you want to get yourself. Again, like these they don't have the handles on them. There are ones with handles. There are, tube ones. There's a whole different lot. This would be my recommendation to start with. You want to get yourself 3 different sizes. So I've got an array of different ones here. I would have a heavy band, something that's quite thick. So this one is a heavy band. It's a really thick one. It's very, very strong. You're not going to use this for all of the exercises, but if you really do want a challenge, that's going to be really great. The second one would be a medium band. So again, it's a bit thinner, obviously, than the thick one, which means it's therefore a lighter resistance. So you'd be using this more often than the heavy band. And then your last one that you want to look at is a really light band, something that you can do a lot of different things with, specifically to do with your shoulders. A light band's going to come in really, really handy. So those would be the 3 to start with that I'd recommend. And you don't need to get 2 of each. You could just get 1 of each of those, and that would be perfect. So where do you actually get these? Well, these particular bands, I've got these from a place called Iron Edge. They're really great. I've been using them for years. That's why I keep going back. They're really good quality. You can also get them from Kmart. things like Big W, Target, they will have bands as well, depending on what sort of stock they've got in available. I know that they do have those 3 sizes. They've got light, medium, and heavy. You just need one of each of those. So the second piece of equipment that I would recommend you look at getting is dumbbells. With the dumbbells, again, much like the bands, there are so many different types on the market. If you want something for more convenience, you can get adjustable dumbbells. So you've got a whole different range of weights that you can use, and you just adjust the weights that are on them. What I recommend is the rubber hex dumbbells, so these ones here. I would again suggest getting yourself 3 different weights. You want a light pair, a medium pair, and a heavy pair. For some recommendations, a light pair I would say is 5 kilos or under. A medium pair would be between 5 and 10, and then 10 kilos and above would be your heavy pair. That's going to allow you the biggest range of weights for all of your workouts, and so that you get the most out of it. One of the cool things with the hex dumbbells over something like the round dumbbells is it doubles as a bit of a handle. So if I've got clients who, when they do push-ups, they feel a bit of wrist pain. The easy fix to that is using a dumbbell like this. You can use it as a handle, put your hand down, and your wrist is going to stay nice and straight. It's not going to roll around on you. So that's a really good option as well. You can obviously get them from the equipment supply places such as Iron Edge, or you can even get them from Kmart now as well. And Kmart have a whole range of different weights that you can get. So those 2 bits of equipment are going to form the base of pretty much everything you're going to need to get started with training at home. Beyond that, there's obviously more things that you can invest in, but you can pretty much start with everything, all the different exercises, just using those 2 bits of equipment. Some extra considerations in terms of equipment to get would be, number 1, getting a mat. So if you've got floorboards and you're going to be doing a lot of ground-based things, you're probably going to want to get yourself a mat so that you're not putting your knees on the floorboards. The other thing to consider is what's around you. So whether you've got something that you can step up onto, it could be a chair, it could be a bench in your house, something that you can use to, do some step ups with, maybe even something to lie on, and you can even make a makeshift bench as well. So there's plenty of different things that you can use that are probably already in your house that will just add to your collection. So that's it for this video. I hope that was pretty helpful. Underneath this video, I'm going to put down some links to some places where you can get some of this equipment from. So you'll have multiple choices there, but as we said, there are plenty of different places you can get them from. They're really not that hard to source, but they'll make a massive difference to your training from home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.